Hey, hello everyone, and welcome to a mortgage coach training. Today is all about mobile. When I was in yesterday's coaching call interview, I called this Mobile Selling 101, just because using your mobile device strategically is a great sales tool and a great borrower educational tool. So what you're looking at right now is our website. You'll notice we have three apps. We have our Mortgage Coach app that creates the total cost analysis. We have our Rate Watch app, and then we have our newest app that we're releasing to the market in a few weeks. It's called My Nest. Now you can download that app. It is something that we've kind of soft launched, but there's a strategy coming up on that. We're not going to cover it in today's training. Today we're going to cover the two core apps, our total cost analysis app and the other one. Sorry, by the way, my screen just went away. All right, there we go. So before I introduce Jacob Gibbs, Jacob and I are doing the training. Hopefully you have already downloaded this app. It's available on the Google Play Store. It's also available on the App Store. This is the app that you can create. Either you create it from Optimal Blue, you can create it from a number of other CRMs, pricing engines, you can create it through our Edge platform. There's a number of ways in which you can create this experience. And then you deliver it via a total cost analysis. It's a link. If the client clicks on it from a mobile device, they get a mobile experience. If they click on it from a desktop, they get a desktop experience. So this is an interactive conversation. Please submit your questions in the Q&A section of the GoToMeeting panel that you're at. And also, this is going to be a call where we want you to have your mobile device out and go through different experiences. There's going to be a couple times where we actually want you to share the link with me. So with that said, I'm going to bring in the leader of our training team, our support team, Jacob Gibbs. Jacob, if you could walk everybody through the first training program.
All right, great. Thanks, Dave. So welcome everybody to our mobile training call. The first thing we're going to discuss is just how to get the apps. If you haven't downloaded these yet, take a moment here and download them with me. All you're going to do is, you can see I've got my iPhone on the left here. I've got an Android device on the right. If you already have these installed, you should see icons on your home screen like the mCoach icon here and the Rate Watch icon. If you don't have those installed yet, what you want to do is go to your App Store if you're on an iPhone. And then you're going to hit the little search key down at the very bottom. And then once the search comes up, you're just going to type in Mortgage Coach. There's a space between it. Now on your Android device, same concept. You're going to click on your Play Store icon. And then in the search bar at the top, just search Mortgage space Coach, and it will display the apps that are available for downloading. So make sure you've got those installed. You might want to actually go to the App Store real quick and just make sure you have the most up-to-date version as well, because you'll see it'll actually say update here instead of just installed. So take a moment, make sure you've got those installed, and then once you do have those installed, in your GoToMeeting toolbar, if you would, click the little hand icon and raise your hand. Just let me know that you've got those installed, and we can continue forward. All right, so with that said, if you've already got these installed, let's go ahead and take a look at the apps themselves. So what I'd like you to do, if you're following along with me, is go ahead and tap on the mCoach icon on your home screen.
Now, by the way, I only see one of you have raised your hand so far. Everyone, the more interactive this is, the better. Please raise your hands so we know that you know how to use the control panel and that you're connected. There we go. We've got a number of you who've raised your hands. So at least we're getting some good participation. Thank you to those of you that did it. For those of you who didn't, it's never too late. I'm going to go ahead and lower everybody's hand, and Jacob, continue.
Right on. Thanks, Dave. Okay, so if you're following along with me, you've tapped on the mCoach icon and you've landed in a screen that looks just like this. Now, it's gone landscape for you. If this is your first time opening the app, you probably won't see a link in this area. That's okay. This is just showing you the last link that was visited. But the first thing I want to make you aware of is that when your client clicks on one of your links that you sent them and they're on a mobile device, it's going to take them through that same process you went through. They're going to be directed to the App Store. They're going to have an easy download process, and once they've got it downloaded, it's going to breadcrumb them right back to your presentation. So what I want to show you now is what the presentation looks like. So we're going to take a look at the sample presentation that's in here. Now keep in mind, this is a sample, so when your borrowers click on this, they're going to see your branding, they're going to see their name on it, they're going to see your contact information. But if you would, everybody tap on Sample Total Cost Analysis, and let's take a look at what's in here. Now, the first thing they're going to be greeted with is your disclosure language. If you're part of an enterprise group, they've probably already written this in for you. If you're an individual user, you can actually control your own disclosures by going to your settings inside Edge and make any modifications that you see fit. Now, let's all tap on I understand, because that's what your borrower is going to do. And the next thing they're going to see is if you've recorded a video on your presentation, which we highly, highly recommend, they're going to be prompted to view your video. So they can say yes or no to view it. If they do choose to view it, they can still back out of it and listen to it play while they're watching the rest of the presentation here. But for today's discussion, we're going to go ahead and hit no if you're on Android. If you're on an iPhone, just hit cancel, and we're going to bypass that video message. Now, hopefully you've created at least one or two total cost analysis already, so you know what they look like in the browser, and you can kind of get an idea of it's all the same between the browser and the mobile device. It's just laid out a little bit differently. So you've got your same general sections. You've got a summary section, a monthly area, short term, and long term. Now, when you tap into the summary section, this is just like when you're looking at the browser and you're looking at that top left area that has a summary of all the information that's available. And then at the very bottom of the app, you notice that there's some tabs that they can click into. Just like in the browser, they can view things like the payment breakdown, they can view the closing costs, and they can actually scroll and swipe around in here to move to different areas. Now, if you have included fee detail, they can even tap on the fee detail. So that's the itemized fees if you've chosen to do that. And then in order to get back a screen on your Android device, you're simply going to hit the back button, and that's the one on the right side of your button at the bottom of your device. That's going to take you back. On the iPhone, you've got a little back link right here that'll take you right back to the previous screen you were on. Now, finally, in this area, you also have a reinvestment grid. This is the one where you can earmark extra principal payments towards reducing their freedom point over time, or you can earmark payments towards an investment vehicle or even back into their current savings account. But again, you can swipe around in here. You can pinch and zoom as you need to. But let's go ahead and back out one step. So we'll all hit back. And on your Android, hit your back button on the device. And let's take a look at the monthly payment area. Now, the monthly payment area, you're always going to find that one of these graphs is empty. That's the benchmark for comparison. So the savings we're showing on this one with a graph is relative to this other one. That's $31 less than waiting for a change. Now, they can also drill into the more info sections by tapping on more info at the top right. And when they do that, they can see what the numbers are that are behind these graphs. Now, let's go ahead and back out a screen again. And we'll take a look at the short-term area. Much like the monthly area, the short-term area is always going to have one empty graph because it's the highest cost program of the ones you're showing. The other ones are all going to show us savings relative to that particular one. Again, there is a more info section at the top right here, and they can really drill down and see what the numbers are that are factored into creating these graphs. Now, I'll take a moment here because I do want to explain that short-term savings area for those of you who have not seen it yet. The short-term savings is not the monthly savings multiplied by the time variable you're using. It's actually substantially different. We're looking at just the total costs of each loan over this time. And what we do is we start with interest and MI paid. If you've chosen to show a tax benefit, we'll subtract that out because it's not a cost. We'll add in any closing costs. These don't include things like prepaid escrows. And then that gives us a total cost over this period of time. Now we compare those total costs against each other, and that's what gives us our net savings. Now, if you need this explanation again, we do have it in our support center. Just type in understanding the TCA or something like that, and there's a couple of different videos that give you all the equations on every single thing in there. But let's go ahead and back out one more step. So go ahead and hit your back button. And then now let's take a look at the long-term area. Now, the long-term area is the only one that's always going to have graphs for every single one of us. These aren't necessarily comparative like the other graphs we looked at. These are showing totals over a period of time. And in this case, we're looking at a 30-year period of time. Now, again, you can drill into the more info sections behind these to see the numbers that comprise each one of these. But let's go ahead and back out, and we're going to cover something very important now. Now, in the main screen here, you notice you've got branding here. This would obviously be your branding, your logo, and everything. But when you want to share this presentation out to, say, a realtor partner or a prospect or a borrower, you're talking about your value proposition in terms of what types of presentations you generally prepare for people, you're going to want to be able to share this. So this is the part where we're going to ask you to interact with Dave. We're going to have you click on, if you're on Android, Share Report. If you're on an iPhone, you're simply going to tap on your branding, and that's going to open up your mobile business card that has a share report functionality. And in both cases, you're given the option for multiple different types of shares. We're going to choose SMS or message if you're on an Android device. And that's going to send a text. So I'll go ahead and choose that. And then once you do that, once you selected an app to use for it, it's going to open up the editor. So now I can type in Dave Savage's phone number. And I'd like you all to do this with me. That's going to be, and Dave's going to put this in the chat as well. So you guys should see that coming in there. But it's
already in the chat.
Oh, everybody. Right on. Thanks, Dave. So 949-370-7393. And then we're going to go ahead and text this over to Dave Savage. So if you would, trigger your share, start up that text, pop in Dave Savage's number. You're going to see it's already got the Edge link in there. You don't really need to add any additional verbiage. But when you do this with your clients, you do want to add some verbiage around it. But Dave, I'm going to go ahead and pass it over to you. Let's see if we can get him sharing out some text.
All right, Jacob. So good job, everybody. I am seeing some text messages come in. So kudos to all of you who have taken action on that and are texting me. If you are having challenges and you know either one you forgot your login, you've got some type of issue that's taking place, email support@mortgagecoach.com. The whole goal of this call today is to help you learn how to share a Mortgage Coach total cost analysis, help you know how to share rate watch screens, and then of course there's a pro version of Mortgage Coach, and we're going to get to that in a minute. So a couple things. I want to just highlight the fact that you could go to our Instagram page here at the bottom of our website. I am going to pull that up. The reason it's important is that we're sharing pictures of Mortgage Coach being used in the marketplace. I mean, this is what we want to help you guys do, is to be able to pull out your mobile device and tell a story or explain a strategy to a family, to an agent, leverage Mortgage Coach in your office. A family comes in, they pull out their mobile device at the right time, you forward the total cost analysis, and now they just continue to get value, whether that's an open house. I mean, this is an open house experience. So I'm always adding pictures as they come in from our community of Mortgage Coach leaders delivering value, getting pictures of families. This is a picture from Mortgage Coach Robert Ring in Northern California, one of his first-time home buyers going through a rent versus own. So again, I would love pictures of Mortgage Coach Mobile in the marketplace. And of course, I've told you how you can kind of track us and keep an eye on it through our Instagram page. So I think at this point, I also want to highlight the fact that we have put a playbook, a training playbook in the meeting, and what's it called, handout section. So you could go into the handout section and pull up a training document. Or you can go to our website, click on our quick start guide here, and I'm going to walk you through a couple things on that. I'm trying to pull it up right now. Here it is. So I actually downloaded it from GoToMeeting, so I know it works. And on page 31, everything Jacob just showed you is right here. So just about everything we're going to go through in today's training, you can print that out. It's got scripts, so how do you position Mortgage Coach total cost analysis with a borrower? We're going to go through this, and I just want to remind you, you have it. So in the handout section of GoToMeeting, there is the playbook. That is available there for you to download. So let's see how many of you have shared a link with me so far. See if it's even close to half of you, because I know who's on the call. I can see your names. I know who's on here, and I know how many links I've gotten. And no, 50% of you so far have not sent a link. Just want to remind you. And if you are having problems, just text me. Say, Dave, I'm having a problem. 949-370-7393. There's going to be another throughout this call that we ask you to share. A number of you have shared. So, I mean, I've got about 6 folks that have shared, but we know that we have almost 20 people on this call right now. So please share a total cost analysis. And then it's important that you keep sharing. We want to make sure that when you're meeting with a family, you're able to share that link. And now they've got your mortgage advice as the story changes. And of course, when you meet with a realtor, we want to make sure all of your realtors have your total cost analysis app installed so that they can follow up and be in the loop. So that is an important training. Jacob is going to transition now, and he's going to show you how to log into the back of the Mortgage Coach app. as a Mortgage Coach Pro, how to create a video, how to drive Edge Live, how to access all of your different total cost analysis. So Jacob, back to you.
All right, great. Thanks, Dave. Okay, so hopefully you're still on this screen. You've done your share to Dave, and then it's popped you back to the main home screen here. Now we're going to back out one additional screen. So on your Android device, go ahead and tap on your back button there. That's going to take you back to the home screen. On your iPhone, you can actually swipe left to right, and that's going to take you right back to the home screen as well. Now, where we go if we want to log in to do things like video recording and Edge Live reporting is we're going to tap the little silhouette, the Mortgage Coach silhouette up at the top left corner of the screen. That's going to take you to a login screen. And it'll also take you into a portrait view, just so you know, so it'll kind of change things around on you. But you're going to enter the same credentials you used to log into Edge and RateWatch right here in this screen. So take a moment here, enter in your email address that you use for Mortgage Coach and your password, and go ahead and sign in. Now, when you do that, you're going to see that there's a couple of new areas, and this is only available to you. This is not available to your clients. So you have an area where you can view your partner list, you can view your client list, and you can check on your performance. Now I'm going to go ahead and tap on performance, and we'll cover that really quickly. But you can see it's giving you some totals, and you can sort these by partners, clients. You can look at them from a weekly or a monthly point of view, and it gives you some basic graphs and numbers that just let you know how are you doing, what kind of traction are you getting. Now, additionally, if we go back a step by hitting that left arrow up at the top right, we've got two more areas. We've got the partner and the client area. Now, what I'm going to show you now is how to record a video. Now, the assumption here is you've already created a presentation for somebody and you need to update a video while you're in the field. You know, maybe a prior to doc condition has changed, something like that. And you're at a coffee shop. You're somewhere else where you're not in front of your computer. You're not in front of a webcam. Now, if I want to go in and update a video for somebody, I'm going to go in and I'm going to find that client or partner. So I'm actually going to tap on the clients area on both of these. Now, in the client section, you want to search for that partner. If you've got multiple presentations like I do in here, it's pretty difficult to find somebody unless you do a search. If you're brand new to this, you probably only have a few of them in here. So feel free to use one of the sample presentations if you'd like to follow along with me in here. Now, in order to search, you would simply hit the search button here, and it'll allow you to search by first name, last name, or email address. For today's discussion, I'm just going to show you how to record video on this John Newbuyer one. So I'm going to go ahead and tap on him. Now, if you're following along, grab one of your sample presentations or grab one that you know is not client-facing right now, something you've done a while ago, and go ahead and tap on that client. Now, the next step is it's going to ask you, what type of presentation did you create for this person? Well, it was a total cost analysis, so I'm going to tap Total Cost Analysis. I'm then given some new options. I can view the presentation, I can add video, or I can do live reporting. Now, I'm going to choose video here. And when you choose video, it'll open up your camera. And there we go. You can see there I am, just kind of holding them away from my body right now. But real simple in terms of recording. All you're going to do is you can see there's a record button at the very bottom of the screen. You want to kind of train your eye on where the lens is on your device. And when you're ready to go, you've ensured that your background looks good. Just hit the record button and start recording. And you can see it gives you a timer there. You can see how long you're recording. This is particularly important because you want to try and keep your videos under 2 minutes just for max effectiveness. But, give it a solid cross-sell for your realtor partner, explain whatever the update is, and then a call to action at the end for your client. And then when you're done, simply tap that stop button again, and it's going to ask you what you want to do with it. Now, at this point, we have the option to play the video. Oops, let's go back there real quick. We can play the video back. I can upload that video, or I can record a new one. Now, for this case, I'm going to go ahead and upload the video. When you do that, it's going to give you a timer, just a status bar showing you how long it's taking to upload it. And it's going to tell you it's been uploaded and it's being processed. It's going to be available for viewing in a few minutes. Now, this is the time where we over at Mortgage Coach, we're taking this video and we're converting it into multiple formats so that no matter where your borrower clicks on your link, that video is going to work on their iPhone, it's going to work on their Android device, and it's going to work on the browser. So with that said, Dave, I'm going to go ahead and pass it back to you. I know you wanted to cover some quick tips on how to do these videos. So Dave, back to you.
All right, Jacob. So another thing I want to show you guys how to do is how to go to our video channel. You can get to all this through our support page. But if you click on this button at the bottom of our website to our YouTube page, it'll take you to our YouTube channel. And then there's a lot of ways you can do it. I am just going to type in Dave Ramsey within our search, and boom, the full interview I did with Dave Ramsey and the short highlight of it, which I really want to cover right now. It's only 3 minutes and 13 seconds. I have put a link to this in chat, but here's Dave's advice. Be authentic, be direct and to the point, keep your videos short. Dave says under 1 minute and 26 seconds. That is key. I can't begin to tell you how many success stories we consistently hear from mortgage coach users that are adding a video to their total cost analysis. So Jacob has shown you how to do that from your mobile device. And remember, you can update that video. So we're hearing more and more, we're hearing from members that are updating that video, at the pre-qual. They get the lead from the realtor, they provide purchase options, they provide a minute of narrative, then the family puts it into escrow, they update the numbers, they update the video. It's not uncommon that they would update that video once or twice throughout the transaction to provide better communication and a smooth close. And it's not uncommon that they would update that video after the loan closes. So you're truly providing a unique, valuable experience, and you're improving the proactivity of your communication with your borrower. So that video feature is important. Like I said, there's a 3 minute and 12-second video from myself and Dave Ramsey, just not only providing some inspiration around this, but providing some very practical advice around this. The other thing that I want to shine a light on is that on this quick tour, quick start guide, the playbook that we talked about, we provide you with some talking points. So there is a checklist on this document. I'm scrolling through it right now to find it. Let's see, it looks like it's towards the beginning. Gosh, our video checklist. I am missing it on what page, but it is in there. So there is a checklist with video talking points for you within the checklist. There's scripts and talking points for you to check out. I am missing it right now, but it is on our quick start guide. So make sure you download that, make sure you put that into action. And with that said, I'm going to turn it back to Jacob for another product demo and another training.
All right, great. Thanks, Dave. So what I'm going to show you now is the Edge Live functionality. Now, we showed you how to do video, and now we know how to actually log into the mobile app. But the difference here is instead of just logging in and adding video, what if I want to actually move the presentation in front of my borrower while they're watching it? So what you've got on the screen here is I'm in that same borrower list that I had before. And if I want to go in here and move the screen while I'm talking to my borrower, I can go in and select that borrower from my list. And I'm going to choose this Live MI Options one. And I actually did a rent versus own presentation for this guy. So I'm going to tap on rent versus own. Now, while I'm doing that, in the background here, I'm going to kind of imitate what the borrower experience looks like. So here's the borrower link. They've clicked on it from the browser or from their mobile device, and this is what they're seeing. So just like in the app, they get your disclosure, and then they can see your video, and they can see your presentation. Now, if I'm in my app and I want to drive this presentation for them, I'm going to open up that borrower record, and instead of video this time, I'm going to choose live reporting. Now, what this does is it opens up a version of the presentation that is reactive. So if I'm going through here and I want to go into the summary section and I want to start talking about, let's say, and let me clear all the highlighting out. There we go. So let's say I want to talk about the total payments, and I start tapping on things on my mobile device. It's automatically going to start moving and highlighting things on the background. So you can see here on the borrower-facing version, it highlighted as I was going along. And then as I continue to drive through this presentation, maybe I want to tap on the payment breakdown. It's going to pop the payment breakdown area open on the borrower's version of the presentation. And again, whether they're looking at this in the browser like this one is, or whether they're looking at it on their mobile device, it's going to drive them along with the exact same steps that you're doing. So if you come in here and now you want to have a discussion about the P&I payments and you start tapping on those, it's going to highlight on your borrower's end. Now, similarly, you can continue that conversation forward. And you don't have to drill down on every cell, but you want to make it relative to the goals of your client. So maybe then you're going to go into your closing costs and you're going to show them, we've got contributions on these, and I wanted to talk to you about those, Mr. Borrower. Now, keep in mind that it actually takes about a second sometimes less than a second, depending on what your speed is, for their version of the presentation to update with your highlighting. So you want to kind of gear your speech around that. So if I'm talking about, let's say, the reinvestment grid, I'm going to say, Mr. Borrower, let's take a look at the reinvestment. And you can see that I've earmarked a reduction payment for you on this third column here. And sorry, that was out of view for you. But I've earmarked a reduction payment on this third column for you of $100. And then these other ones, you can see they don't have that reduction payment. But what this results in is it results in a shorter freedom point for you. So you can see I'm tapping on it and expecting to end my sentence about half a second to a second later so that it works and updates in front of them. Now, Les has a question real quick. He says, does that work in reverse? Change on the computer and make changes on the phone? Absolutely, Les. When you're inside Edge and you go to the area where you can generate your link, you can hit Edge Live here, and the same thing would happen in reverse. So certainly, yeah, that's always been available for us. The newer part of this is being able to do it direct from your mobile device as well. So great question, Les. I'm sure other people had that question as well. Now, the one other area I want to point out for you is you have the ability to clear out your highlighting. So as you're having this conversation, you can clear those out. You can back out to another screen, and maybe I want to go down to that tax benefit area, and I want to show, a specific item that I want to highlight, or I want to drill into the more info sections, and I want to talk about things like net cost over time. And I know that when I tap on those, it's just going to take a second or so for that to get highlighted or emboldened on the borrower's side. So Dave, let me go ahead and pass that back to you. And when I come back, we'll take a look at what our partner-facing presentations look like.
Beautiful, Jacob. So everyone, I want you to just imagine yourself as a borrower, someone who's thinking about buying a home, and you're out looking at open houses. Let's face it, you're either finding the open houses through an app, Zillow, Trulia, all of the MLS in your back pocket apps, our good friends at HBM, Home Buyers Marketing. Or you're out looking at homes and you're looking at the prices. And then you go into the open house and it's old school. What we're proposing is that you're able to create a Mortgage Coach open house experience. It's co-branded. Some of the photos here are from actual broker previews where Mortgage Coach loan officers have used our mobile app. Some of them are actual open houses. But what we're consistently hearing is that the realtor is getting more leads at the open house, and more importantly, they're getting more mortgage leads at the open house by creating these co-branded Mortgage Coach experiences. And that's why it's so important that you share the mobile-to-mobile experience with your realtors, so that you're leading by example and you're teaching your realtors how to share these mobile-to-mobile experience. So with that said, I showed you some pictures of Mortgage Coach at open houses, at broker previews. Jacob, go ahead and show them technically how to do it. And then everyone, I'll let Jacob close out the call from here. I've got to jump onto another call. There will be a couple more opportunities for you to share your mobile app with me. So make sure that you follow along with Jacob in the next few minutes. Take care, everyone.
All right, great. Thanks, Dave. Appreciate you being on here and the leadership that you can bring. All right, so let's take a look at our partner-facing version. So we just looked at the total cost analysis. We looked at the rent versus own, and those are borrower-facing presentations. But you also got to know that there are partner presentations that allow for co-branding, and these are particularly great for, one, building relationships with new realtor partners, but two, certainly using them as a standalone presentation at an open house. Now let's take a look at what it looks like. Just like the other ones, you have the disclosure area, and you hit I understand, and you're led into the app. Now in the app, you can see that we've got these two dots here on the pictures. You can actually upload more than one property image now. This is a fairly new feature. And in order to change between them, you can actually tap on it and it'll change that image, or you can swipe and it'll change the image. But you do have to upload them and select them in order for them to be available like this. Now, further, you have things like some basic property details, things like the asking price, beds and baths, a brief description behind one of your images, and then you've got property features. Now, property features are the ones that are checkboxes when you're running through the wizard inside Edge, and you can indicate what features are available for this property. You can also indicate up to 4 custom features, so don't forget about that. Now, let's go ahead and back out of there. Now, finally, you have the payment options area. Payment options is just kind of your snapshot at what are the available loan programs for this property. So you've prepared one or more programs to include on here. You can see I've got 4 different ones that are available for this particular one, but they're just snapshots of day one. So these aren't long-term analysis at all. This is strictly looking at, what's your down payment going to look like? What's your cash to close going to look like? You can view the fee detail, you can view the payment stream, APRs, and monthly payments. So the most important thing is to kind of give your client a glimpse of what these loan products would look like. But it's also a point where you're going to prompt during your video. You want to make sure that your call to action includes something about make sure to call me so I can prepare a more personalized presentation for you. And that's when you transition to your total cost analysis for that borrower. Then you can show them the short and long-term effects of the loan programs you're offering, and you can tailor it to what their unique situation is. Now, you also have a graph available here on the open house, and you can see we break it down into principal, interest, and then monthly costs. So you can see there's a line variation in each one of these graphs. And more info would actually just take you back to the area we were just looking at. Now, in here, just like the other ones, you are able to share these. So if you were to tap on your branding on the iPhone, that's going to bring up your mobile business card. If you were to hit share report on the iPhone, that will bring up your mobile business card. Well, it'll bring up your share element right away for you. Now, let me discard that. If I tap on my branding here in the Android side, it does bring up my mobile business card, but you notice there's no share right there. That's just so people can tap on your branding and immediately contact you. They can email you, they can call you by simply tapping on one of those. But the share feature on Android is definitely up here in the share report section. All right, so the final part of this is the branding. Very important. You've got your branding here on the left. You've got your partner's branding here on the right. And, it's nice and out there. It's a great way for you to cross-sell your realtor partner at every stage. And again, make sure you're very intentional about the video you include on here, whether you're prospecting for a new realtor partner or you're delivering this as something as a leave behind for an open house. Make sure you're constantly cross-selling that realtor partner, and it's going to be just some passive marketing for you because they're going to cross-sell you as well. All right, so before we transition, I do want to show you one more thing. Now, we've talked about at least a little bit about what are you presenting to people. You got to have a set of material that you want to have available to you so that whenever you're meeting with a new prospect, you can immediately call up specific presentations that you've done in the past. Now, for me, I've been just going through my history list here because I'm only doing these ones, but you probably have a lot more clients in your repertoire here, and you want to be able to select specific ones that you would use for your stories, for your value propositions. Now, what I've done here is let me transition back over to the browser real quick. And inside Edge, what I did is I went through my borrower list and I checked it out and said, okay, well, which one of these am I really proud of? Which was something that I want to make available as one of my story files? So this one, for instance, existing mortgage review. This was just for a specific client. But if I want to make this available as one of my story files, I'm going to copy this one. So I'm going to double click into it. And then I'm going to go straight to the analysis screen here. And then I'm going to copy this analysis because I don't want the original one to be affected. I just want to be able to use this for my value prop conversation. So I'm going to copy it as a new client and then hit OK. Now this makes a mirror image of the original presentation, but you can see we can now rename it to anything we want. Now what I highly recommend is use a keyword that's easy to search. In my case, I use the word mobile. So I'll just put in mobile dash, let's say, just review even. Now, the reason I do it this way is because when we get back over to our mobile apps and I want to go and search for these, I'm going to log into it. So just like before, we're going to tap that little silhouette guy up at the top left so that I can log into the app. And when I do that, there we go. When I do that, I'm going to go into my client list here. And then when I go to the search, I'm simply going to, in the first name field, I'm going to search by my keyword. So mobile. And then hit search. Now this is going to find all the presentations that I've got that I have used that prefix of mobile. So you can see I've got things like an existing mortgage review that I just showed you. I've got points or not. That's a very common presentation. FHA versus conventional. A move up buyer presentation. Purchase power, which is just different purchase price options against each other. I've got rent versus owns, and then I've got a cost of waiting. Those are the ones that I would want to show off as part of my value proposition when I'm talking to either a new realtor partner or a new borrower prospect. These are the kind of things that I can do for you. So you can see I've spent a little time on creating these. Go back through your list when you get a chance. Just check out the past presentations you've done and find one that you're particularly proud of. Then use that copy function that I showed you by opening the presentation in Edge, go to the analysis screen, and copy that as a new client. Then when you name it, make sure to choose a keyword that's easy to search by. That way, anytime you want to go and search for those story files, you simply type in your keyword in the search and it'll pick them all up for you. So now if I'm having this conversation with a realtor prospect, I can thumb through these and I can show them at a glance. Here are the presentations that I like to present for our mutual borrowers. Here's the kind of value I can deliver on an annual basis for the mortgage review, those kind of things. So hopefully you get the idea there. If you need a little bit more color on that, just email our support team and they can certainly help you out. All right, so we have covered the Mortgage Coach Core app. So it's used as both a viewer by your clients, and then you have the ability to log into it and to make things happen, whether it's video recording or doing Edge Live to drive their presentation, or just searching your client list so that you can show off your value proposition when talking to a new prospect. Now let's take a look at the other app that we were going to discuss today, and that's RateWatch. So let me go ahead and back out of these real quick here. Now, the Rate Watch, if you've got it installed, looks like these binoculars on your home screen. So if you tap on these guys, it should open up Rate Watch for you. Now, keep in mind, you only need to log into Rate Watch one time, and it's going to remember your login from there on out. So you notice it didn't ask me for my login information. It's already got me in there. Now, the key factor behind the Rate Watch is that this allows you to basically keep the market in your back pocket. You know, everybody's going to come up to you and ask you what a rate's doing. And there's no real global response for what a rate's doing. But there is a response to what's the market doing. And this is where we can show them that we really do have our finger on the pulse. Now, at a glance, the one thing that jumps out is the color of the background. If it's green, that's good for rates. If it's red, that's bad for rates. Now, if we take a look at these candlestick charts, this shows you and this is a 3-week view right now, but you can see that we've kind of been just hovering for the last few days. We actually had a significant drop yesterday, and we've gained back a lot of that drop today. So we're actually in positive territory. We're 21 basis points ahead. Now, this is where we would trigger you. Anytime there's a 15 basis point change in the market or more, we're going to send you an alert. And you can tailor your alerts to be either text messages, they're going to come in-app as well, so you'll see those, and you can even get email alerts. Now let's take a look at what else is inside here. Now if we tap on the little menu icon up at the top left, that's those 3 bars there, that's going to open up the side menu. Now we're on the home screen right now, which shows us some basic candlestick charts. But we also have the day watch. So let's tap on day watch. And you can see on the day watch, we actually put a little diamond here if you're on an iPhone. It's a little circle on an Android, but this is your notification. This is when we notified you that something's going on in the market. And if you tap on it, you can actually see what that specific data was when the alert was. Now, this is a great screen to be able to share with your client. So this is another area we're going to share with Dave Savage. So if you would, turn your screen sideways. If you've got your if you've got your gyro enabled on your mobile device, it'll actually be a much better view at what the screen looks like. And then we're going to share this screen. So go ahead and tap the share key, choose SMS, and then text this one over to Dave again. So 949-370-7393. Now, this is actually going to send a screen capture of that image. Now, on your Android device, the sharing is these 3 connected dots up at the top right. So you can share this screen in the same fashion as we did over on the Mortgage Coach app, and we can share this out with Dave. But this is a great one to be able to share with realtor partners and borrowers to show them that, hey, there's some volatility in the market. And in fact, today's a good day in the market. We should actually expect to see some pretty good pricing coming out of today because we gained a lot back that we lost yesterday. Now, furthermore, after you've gone ahead and shared with Dave, and you come back into your screen here, there's one more area I want to show you on the screen, and that is the date functionality. You have the ability to select what day you'd like to look at. So, for instance, if I wanted to take a look at yesterday, which was a downward volatility day, I can tap on the date or day, depending on what device I'm on, and I'm going to just select yesterday. And then once you hit OK or you tap on the screen, it's going to adjust that graphic. And you can see yesterday we had a rough day. We started off okay. We dropped 15 basis points, and that's when we alerted you in the morning. We gained a little bit of it back, but we really did close way under. So we should have expected to see maybe some pricing changes yesterday for the worst. So two great screenshots. I would send both of them. Hey, here's what yesterday looked like. Here's what today looks like. Mr. Borrower, I'm watching it for you. So don't worry. I've got my finger on the pulse of the market. I'll make sure to let you know when the right time to lock is. If they haven't locked. Obviously, if they have locked and they're just still asking about what a rate's doing because they're considering a reprice, you can show them, hey, it's volatile. But right now, I'm watching, so don't worry about it. Now, let's go ahead and tap on that menu icon again, and we'll hit the alerts section. Now, alerts just tells you when we alerted you. That was this morning's alert that told you there was a 15 basis point change in a positive direction. Harlow asks, how do you go back again? So depending on what device you're on, if you're on an Android device, you would just tap the little back icon on your device. If you're on an iPhone, you would just tap on the menu icon here, and it'll allow you to select whatever menu you want to go back to. Now, if you're in the share screen right now or something like that, you probably want to cancel out of that. There should be a cancel or a done area that would allow you to move backwards. All right, so let's take a look at our next section. We're going to tap those three lines up at the top. They'll be on the left, of course, if you haven't tapped it yet. And then let's take a look at Edge Views. Now, Edge Views, depending on how many clients you've got and which version you're logged into. I'm logged into two different accounts on these devices, so I can show you this. But you can see that this is the sample account that we were working on today. I got 3 views on this. I've got my Amy Realtor open house flyer, I've got my Edge live presentation that we did, and I've got my John Newbuyer. Now, when you tap on the little I next to them, it'll actually give you the contact information for that person, as well as the link to the presentation. So if you wanted to revisit that, you could tap on that link, and it'll open up the Mortgage Coach app so that you can see that presentation. Again, you have a date selector. So I'm looking at today, but if I wanted to look and see, what was my traction last Friday or whatever, I could always change the day I'm looking at to see how many alerts I got on that particular day. Now, finally, one of the more important ones, commentary. Now, if you've been using RateWatch for a while, you're already seeing the commentaries that come through from Dan Rawich and from Neil Trineri, but these are also inside your mortgage or inside your RateWatch app. And when you tap on one of these guys, it'll expand out, and you can see Dan's video is right here. You can actually tap on this and see what's going on. Further, he's got the commentary information in a written format to just let you know what's going on, what are things he's considering that are going to be affecting rates in the near future. And these are great ones to be able to share. You didn't used to be able to share these, but we've added the share feature not too long ago. So whichever one you tap on, you can always hit share and share that out to your realtor partners. Maybe you even share it out to a distribution group on Facebook or something, but it's completely up to you. These are shareable. We don't restrict them at all. Feel free to share these out. This is the part where you don't have to be an expert on the market, and you can still get across some really solid data to your partners and borrowers. Now, one more section I want to cover with you in the menu is the lender's barometer. Now, personally, this is one of my favorites because this is another one that you can share, and it's a visual that you can give to your partners and prospects to let them know what's been happening in the market today as a result of these changes. Now, what this screen is showing is we use Optimal Blue to track about 130 registered lenders with them, and they're tracking their rate sheets from across the country, all of them. And they're averaging the movement for that particular lender across all their rate sheets, and they're coming up with these numbers. Of those 130 they're tracking, how many of them have issued pricing that averages better? How many have issued pricing that averages worse? And you can see in this case here, I've got 75 lenders, and they're split right down the middle. But that means there's another 50 some odd lenders, 55 lenders that have not issued any repricing yet. They're kind of sitting on the fence because they saw yesterday's volatility down, today's coming up. So we're not seeing those people moving yet. So this is a good one. You can share just like the other ones. You can share this directly out to your prospects and your partners. Ward has a question. He says, I can't input my username and password. My iPhone is just timing out. Ward, you may want to try connecting to a Wi-Fi. That usually happens if you're getting poor connection service or something like that. But certainly try, if that doesn't work, just connecting to Wi-Fi, try just restarting the app and it should let you go through. I know here in my office, I get horrible receptions, so I'm always connected to Wi-Fi when I'm in here. That's the only reason these are even working for me. Les's question, is there a contact at Optimal Blue? I've called and never got return calls. Les, actually, if you could shoot that over to our support team, we can get you in. Actually, Les, I got an idea for you. Email optimalblue@mortgagecoach.com. That goes to the team over here that handles the Optimal Blue integrations, and they should be able to get you somebody, at least to the sales department over there, for somebody that you can talk to. All right, great. So thanks everybody for the interaction. That completes our call for today. I managed to keep it at 45 minutes. I'm trying to trim these down a little bit to respect your time here. But certainly if you have any additional questions or you need some help on any of these, don't forget there's always help available. If you click on help inside your Edge, it's going to take you over to our support center, and you can do a search by keyword for just about anything in here. I've got hundreds and hundreds of videos loaded up for you. So if you needed to find out things like, you need to find out everything you want to know about mobile, you type in mobile, and there it is. How to use the Edge mobile app to record videos, the Rate Watch app, how do I take a screenshot, all these kind of good things. They're all here for you. And you can even go far more detailed. If you want to learn about some of those strategies that we talked about early on, or when I was showing you how to build your stories, things like the cost of waiting presentation. So if I type in cost of waiting, there you go. How to build the cost of waiting presentation. Great one to have in your briefcase to be able to show off to people. Annual mortgage review is very common right now. A lot of people are doing this. And of course, after Brexit, when rates went down, that was the time where people started really wanting to know what their refinance options are. So if you want to check out those guys, how to create an annual mortgage review, it's all here for you. So with that, let us know if you have any additional help. You can always email our support team, support@mortgagecoach.com. Question from Harlow, can anyone install Rate Watch? So they can, Harlow, but they won't be able to log in. And your login is actually restricted to a number of, I think it's 3 or 4 logins concurrently. So you don't want to share that login credential with other people. Instead, just share the screens with them, share the commentaries with them, versus having them try to log into Rate Watch. That's specifically for you. Bill has a comment. He says, Jacob and Dave, this is one of the best webinars I've ever listened to from you guys. Thanks so much. Awesome, Bill. I'm so glad you got some value out of this. And certainly we do this every Wednesday, so if you need a refresher anytime, feel free to stop back in. We'll also be announcing new features that come out. And just kind of a teaser for you guys, in the next couple of months, we will have the ability to be able to edit a total cost analysis inside the mobile app. So coming soon. We're in the beta test phase right now, but we hope to get that out to you within the next couple of months. Les's question, login question. Why won't the login on my computer remember my info, but my phone does? So great question, Les. The reason is, on the computer, this is all done in what's called Flash. Now, Flash is kind of a container inside the browser. And as part of their security, it won't let you remember anything inside here. So every time you load up this page, it's always going to be empty and you will always have to log in. Now in the mobile apps, we have a lot more control over that. So we're not bound to whatever the browser is going to do. We can actually store it directly on your phone as a cookie. These won't cookie, unfortunately. But I know it's a little painful. Don't worry. At some point in the near future, probably in the next year, I would say, we should be moving away from Flash and going towards HTML5. That's going to open up a lot of new capabilities for us. But certainly, we understand, and we will continue to work on that. So with that, thanks, everybody. Appreciate your interaction today, and feel free to stop in anytime. Hope to see you on the next training. Thanks, guys. Bye-bye.